now the story of a wealthy family who lost everything, and the one son who had no choice but to keep them all together. It's Arrested Development.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Next Issue podcast.
I love that Ninja Turtle picture. You can see the actor on the inside. That is one of my favorite all time.
It was serendipitous that I played that in that intro of Arrested Development, because in one of our shorts this week, I think we were talking about. It was when we were talking about maybe Josh wanted to see She-Hulk in the Daredevil, and then we made a few jokes, about the sweater, and then Clay was like, "It's not called, Bone Again or Smash Again, whatever." A Bone Again would have been a better pun. Actually.
Bone Again would have been good, yeah.
But Tony just left the comment like, "Y'all are grown ass men," and I was like, "There we go."
Nice.
Listen, Sunday morning, I think we could turn it on when needed. I think that's the flexibility.
You know what? And here's the secret: there is no such thing as a grown ass man. Like, right. It's just not a thing. Like, if you don't ever grow up.
I mean, talk to any adult man older than 30, and that scene in the Avengers when Bruce looks back and goes, "I'm always angry." You just look back and go, "I'm always a child." So that's just all there is to it. Yeah.
So on today's show, we're going to we're going to talk a little bit about Captain America Brand New World, but we understand the movie just came out, and not everybody can rush to the theater to see it. I don't know why. You got plenty of time. Just make the time for the important things in life. But
it's been out for like 2 days. What are you doing? That's 48 hours. It's only a 2-hour movie.
What, did you not go to the fan screening?
Yeah. You're the people still calling it Gulf of Mexico, okay?
It's the Gulf of Tiamat.
That's what we did see.
Can you imagine if that's where the Celestial had come out of? He would have gotten stuck in the Gulf.
It's all the muck.
Like, it comes out like, what is all this muck? Why is there all this oil in the surface of the field? What's happening? Yeah, they're disgusting. I'm leaving. I'm not even going to destroy the planet. I'm just leaving.
How bad does our Earth have to be if a creature of that variety is just like, it's too dirty here. I'm out. This is disgusting.
Yeah. This is how we protect ourselves from Galactus, because we're just junk food now at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
War of the Worlds was probably right?
Yes.
They won by just being disgusting.
That's a deep cut from Danny.
But I will say this:
it's the Tom Cruise one he's talking about.
You're gonna be very disappointed. My War of the Worlds knowledge comes from the Tom Cruise movie.
I knew you were going to say that.
But you know what? That's a Spielberg film. It's fine. It's Spielberg.
I only ever made it halfway through it.
But Josh famously hates Steven Spielberg movies.
Famously, yeah. There's not a single Spielberg movie I like. And no one tell me he produced Indiana Jones, okay?
The further back you go into Spielberg's career, the more Josh hates him. Yeah. Josh, gross. More like Nas.
Yeah.
That one got away from me.
He started so well with Bone Again, and then he ended up with that.
Listen, they all can't be home runs, all right?
That's true. Hey, according to Musk, we can't all bat 1,000. So
yeah.
All right. With that nice segue,
he's pivoting as hard as Danny can.
Yeah. I guess let's start with that. So on today's show, what we're actually going to do later on, I took a picture of the credits because there's usually a special thanks part, a nice way to let the creators know we acknowledge you, even though we're not going to pay you. And we've talked about it on our Discord a little bit. I think it came up again maybe a couple weeks ago that Josh brought it up that, a lot of these content creators don't get any money
Yep.
that are making billions of dollars for everyone else.
Do you think they get like I think we've all Danny, I think you and I have worked corporate jobs where we get like corporate branded like drink koozies or like random like corporate like pads of papers and stuff. Do you think that they give like Frank Miller like a Marvel t-shirt every now and again, like a
or a pizza party?
Like a
Can
pizza
you imagine? every like 6 months they just get all their, like, Kevin Feige just throws a pizza party for like all these comic creators.
It's like the cheapest pizza ever, despite the fact that he's like Scrooge McDuck in his money bin.
Like whatever they sell at the parks that just kind of, it's not very good and falls apart.
Exactly.
You get like a certificate for like best writer this month kind of thing, like.
Can you imagine that wall at the Marvel offices, just framed photos of like, this is all Al Ewing, and then there's like one like Frank Miller in there. So
like, as producer, it's always Kevin Feige. I don't know why. He's just I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Although this movie had another producer, Nate Moore, I think. I do remember seeing two names.
Interesting.
In the credits, and I was like, huh.
I do also, this is just a little behind the scenes for our audience. I just want to give props to Danny, because Danny took a photo of the special thanks, and rather than what I would have done, which is just post the photo into our notes, he typed all the names out. I just want to give total props to that. That's a pro level move.
I did type the names out. The main reason I typed the names out, and this is more inside baseball. The main reason I typed all the names out was because I would then copy them over to the ChatGPT machine. And I asked it, can you tell me how all these people are related to the Captain America Brave New World film? And I think it didn't do a good job the first time, so I had to ask.
So
they're all comic creators.
GPT. It's like, Danny, I don't believe there is an Incredible Hulk issue 1894. I think it invented that.
Well, it was like they are in the special thanks part of the credits. I was like,
Thanks. I knew that.
But then I rephrased my question and asked it for more detail. And then, as you can see on our notes, like it really just, I think it just looked for like Captain America comics, and if they had worked on it at some point, that's what it listed. Because there's some people here that are on here really because they worked on like Falcon, or they're more related to Red Hulk. Although, interestingly enough, on the special thanks, I don't see Jeff Loeb and Ed McGuinness, who actually created the Red Hulk character. Not Thunderbolt Ross himself. He was already in a pre-existing character, or a pre-existing condition, if you will, of the Marvel universe. But those two are not on here, which seemed odd to me.
I did notice a actually on this under Stan Lee, where it says co-created the Falcon and Captain America 117. It says making him the first Black superhero in mainstream comics. I believe that is the first African American superhero, because Black Panther would be the first African superhero.
That's right. So the machine doesn't know all. We still have to check on it.
Absolutely.
AI's coming after you first, Josh.
That's right.
I'm on its shit list now. I'll be the first against the wall when the revolution comes. So.
Well, if it isn't Mr. Professor, is what it
goes. Why did you choose that accent? Do we need to change the settings on the voice? The
AI? I want Joe Pesci and My Cousin Vinny. That's the voice I want.
But all that to say, later on we'll be talking about some comic recommendations based on some of those people, or maybe just some good comics from all these people that are on the list. Maybe I'll publish the list to like Blue Sky or something, so you guys can also look on your own. There's a lot of names that I was like, oh, and then I always forget Ralph Macchio is an actual comics writer, not to be confused with the actor Ralph Macchio.
Man, as a kid in the 80s reading Marvel comics, right after Karate Kid came out, I was like, he writes comics too? Or he was in like an editor on a line, I think. Something Spider-Man related. So that's all I read as a kid was Spider-Man. And
can you imagine? I remember seeing the first like because I thought the same thing. I was like, well, he does. And then they did finally do like a Marvel bullpen where they do like the caricature drawings. And I was like,
Yeah.
that doesn't look anything like Ralph Macchio.
He's not the Karate Kid. He's a little man.
That's right. Can you imagine you work your whole life, you become this kind of, semi-famous comic book writer, and then some punk kid comes and just becomes the more famous Ralph Macchio.
Exactly.
And you can't kick his ass because he knows karate.
You can't.
He knows the crane move.
Yeah.
There's no defense against it.
And in the other move where he just twirls around like a little drum and he just that one is not. I love that they try to recreate that moment of like, oh, it's like this really natural flowing type of move, but it looks silly, right? It looks silly that it's just flinging around his arms like the little drum that Mr. Miyagi was holding. So like, I don't think that one works as well as the crane.
I'm just saying. I mean, I haven't been in that many fights, but that's basically how I go into it. I just put my arms out, wave them around, and then just move erratically. That's what else can you do?
The old tornado.
Yeah, that's how the red tornado came to be.
I'm just gonna start swinging my arms really fast like this.
In the way.
That was a Simpsons reference for anybody that missed it.
Thank you.
Early Simpsons.
Fairly early, I feel like.
Old.
Yeah, we are old.
Those are the good ones.
We are grown ass men.
If you want to watch The Simpsons, watch like seasons 1 through 9, and those are like the primo.
If you want to watch me turn into Matt Damon at the end of Saving Private Ryan here on screen, I just want to point out The Simpsons began when I was in junior high school. I turned 50 years old this year. That is a very long time for a show.
Josh was a late bloomer. He was 20 when he was in middle school.
That is true. That is true.
So, he was doing the Billy Madison way of not
a good academic, actually. That's the sad thing. I really struggled.
And now he's teaching America's youth.
Don't ask
America.
That. Right. Again, we just see Tiamat's head go back underwater.
His hand to his hand, he just goes down and starts turning like
Exactly.
Before we get into we're going to talk a little bit about Captain America Brave New World, spoilers free, and then we'll talk about all the stuff we've been watching. Well, actually, it looks like you guys haven't watched much, so you're going to hear me talk about a bunch of movies, and then we'll talk about comics.
Sounds good.
But just some housekeeping out of the way. First of all, I want to wish my buddy Austin a happy birthday. Today's his birthday. He's out there. He's out shooting guns somewhere, like clay, or I don't know what people shoot these days for recreational purposes. So have a good time, Austin. Hopefully, I'll see you later at dinner. And also, for comic creator Liana Kanga's also their birthday.
Oh, nice.
Very, very interesting. I saw this morning. I was like, so I don't think they're watching this, but they're definitely getting sent a clip. So there you go. Happy birthday to both of you.
Happy birthday.
Any other birthdays you guys have? No? All right, great. Birthday roundup is over.
Well, it's President's Day coming up, so it's got to be like George Washington or Abraham Lincoln's birthday around here sometime or something like that. Isn't that how that happened?
Is how that works.
I think it was between George Washington and Abraham Lincoln's birthday.
They took an average?
Like an average.
Okay. All right. Let's talk a little bit. So Jeff and I went to watch Captain America Brave New World. And I think we have a little bit of a difference of opinion just based on some before the stream conversation we were having. Now, for those that are on the channel, I put out a little out of the theater reaction video. I took some notes in my little Alamo draft card, my little Alamo draft house card.
Your order card?
That's right. Yeah, I saved an order card and I smuggled it out of the theater. But
you're like, Captain America is American.
That's right. I don't know. I mean, we didn't see a birth certificate, so I don't know. But it seems
Oh no! Oh no! We're gonna raise that issue again.
Show me Sam Wilson's long form birth certificate, please.
Hawaii.
Yeah. Who's that? Who's that young man he's running around with? Joaquin? I don't think so.
Did you guys know Steve Rogers' middle name is Hussein? It's very weird.
Oh wow, that was they were really trying to reach a global audience. I think it's this Steve Ditko and
No, it was Jack. Jack Kirby and God damn it, who was his writer at the time?
I thought it was Ditko.
Who did
What are you
Cat?
talking? No, it's Joe.
No,
Joe
sorry.
Simon.
Steve Rogers? Yeah, there you go. Joe Simon and Jack Kirby.
You're right. Yes, that Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. I have the freaking picture right here. I should have put it on the notes. Because they are before the special things section. They're like Captain America created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby.
Nice.
There goes all my cred.
We got you. Just cut this part out. It's fine. We'll protect your secret, Danny.
Yeah. But all right. So Jeff, why don't you go first since you have a bit more of a I don't want to say negative because I don't think it's negative.
I'm very frustrated with the movie. I was very frustrated with the movie. You can definitely, and I think knowing the more you know going into this movie might be a detriment to your enjoyment of the movie. There's some. I'll say this. Anthony Mackie, the guy that plays Joaquin Torres, I can't remember the actor's name. Harrison Ford,
Danny Ramirez.
Danny Ramirez. Thank you. All of them do a great job acting wise. Like they all do a fantastic job at their roles. Carl Lumbly.
My God.
First off, the most amazing thing about this is I don't know how old he is, but there is a shot of him running where I'm like, no, that is him running, and I am so impressed because he's just this old man running, like he looks great,
but he's like
fantastic.
Steve Rogers,
running around the mall,
around the
he's
mall,
just booking it. And I'm just like, that's incredible. The highlight of the movie. Go see the movie just for that. Like
I'm in. He's sold me on it.
The Irishman could never. Marty, take notes. All right.
Going back to Joe Pesci.
Marty, take notes.
Yeah.
This is how you move an older person in a movie.
Yeah, exactly. Mitch, quit falling. Go look at Carl. So yeah, performances are fantastic. There are a handful of action sequences that I think are really, really good.
Yeah.
I love all of Sam Cap's action sequences. He's awesome. You can feel the movie is very disjointed. You can feel the movie is reshot a couple of times. There's a lot of confusion, I think, as to what the direction the characters are going.
Mm-hmm.
It is a spiritual sequel to the first Incredible Hulk movie.
Yeah.
But I think the problem is what I kept thinking of was I miss William Hurt. I love Harrison Ford, but I because they try to tie it so much back into that movie, I was like, this should be William Hurt, or it should be, you should have somehow figured out a way around this. Like, it's just too much. But if you don't go into like with that knowledge kind of thing, and you're just kind of along for the ride, I feel like it's just kind of your average. I'd put it at an average like Netflix action film.
Well, like the better stuff, not the Michael Bay, like.
It's better. It's better than Carry On.
I don't like that comparison because there's a really bad. There's a really bad Netflix.
I'd put this in the
Netflix action movie.
I need you to compare it.
I'll put it this way. So no, I'll put it a different way. So it doesn't. It upsets me in the way that I'm just like, there are a lot of choices that are made in this movie that don't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Both behind the writing, behind the plot, and because I know that they had to reshoot, and there's tons of stuff, like they completely reworked the movie. It feels a little like the Suicide Squad, where you're just like, what am I watching from scene to scene?
Mm.
So it feels very disjointed. That said, it's not. It's not unentertaining. Like it's still entertaining. So it's a weird feeling leaving this movie where I'm just like I was entertained, but the second I start thinking about things, everything falls apart in my hands, and it's disappointing.
Is part of the problem, like I feel like, particularly with the like big trailer that came out for it, I feel like this really wanted to evoke Winter Soldier. And that's a high bar to meet. And so I wonder if you go into it with the expectations of this is going to be Winter Soldier Part 2, if it leaves you with that sense of this isn't as good as I wanted.
It feels a little like Winter Soldier,
okay,
mixed with some Civil War, and you'll understand once you see when that makes sense, I think.
All right.
But it's like the you know how when two movies come out that are kind of the same, there's one that's really good and there's one that's not as good. This is the not as good one. So
okay, so we're talking like Deep Impact versus
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I knew. That's exactly why I said Deep Impact.
I don't know which one you think is the lower, but it's not Armageddon. I'm gonna tell you that right
now. No, I started with Deep Impact. A, because I know your love of it, and B, I've never seen it, but it has to be better than Armageddon. So why only one of those has gotten a Criterion release and it's Armageddon, I don't know.
I like Armageddon better, just the way I like Volcano better than Dante's Peak.
Interesting.
Yeah. We may need to do like
Armageddon is definitely the better movie.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
I like the other one better.
But Dante's Peak? No,
a lot of people like Deep Impact better.
Deep Impact? No, they're both. I think they're both boring.
I thought you were going
to boring. Yeah, but only one is Steve Buscemi losing his fucking mind.
Right. So
yeah, exactly.
So another interesting, I guess. We didn't really go too much into detail before the show because I feel pretty much the exact way Jeff does.
Interesting.
Because I like the same things. I like the performances. I think Harrison Ford is unhinged and I love it. Like he just goes all out. There's a scene that's kind of like a flashback to a younger Thunderbolt Ross.
Oh God, did they de-age him?
No. Well, kind of. They did, but they didn't.
But in makeup, not in CGI. Yeah. What's funny is they do it in makeup. Right.
But it's like like William Hurt never acted like that. The character. This feels like the lost years of Thunderbolt Ross, the stuff that we didn't see. But then when you watch the movie, you may understand kind of why that's happening. Like there's a reason behind the whole thing. I love the performances. I think Carl Lumbly, I would have loved to have seen more. I was a little upset. I feel like Giancarlo Esposito's role is very small to what I would want to see. It feels like now we kind of wasted him on that. So like we can use him for other stuff where like maybe bigger characters in the future. So I love his performance because it's Giancarlo. Like I don't know that you can get a bad performance out of that man. But I also like Jeff. Like the problem is sometimes we know too much, right? We know how much they changed this movie. We know that Seth Rollins was supposed to be in it, so I think they were going for a more fantastical approach to the Serpent Society, and they changed that to be more grounded and give it more of that like Winter Soldier spy thriller like type of vibes. So normally I don't notice like kind of the seams of like, oh, this feels out of place. But to Jeff's point, I thought this movie was really entertaining. I had a good time watching it. I enjoyed it. Like it was in the middle of the day and I had a burger with him. Like I got a burger at the Alamo Draft House. So like I was having a good time. It was fun. We got primed up with the Alamo does some really fun stuff before the movies. I got to watch the Thunderbolts trailer on a big screen. I got to watch Fantastic Four trailer on a big screen. For some reason, they reused the Paul Rudd Quantumania. Don't text before the movie.
That's weird.
Yeah, I was like,
did they just not film one for this? Maybe
I guess not.
They've gone through a bankruptcy since then. So
yeah, true. And Sony won't let them use any non-Sony actors, so it's just going to be Aaron Taylor Johnson from this point out. So
just give me more Madam Web. Dakota Johnson telling me, I'll put my phone away. Dakota Johnson.
No, but I mean, okay,
Yeah.
I'm just saying they missed an opportunity because the one actor you want telling you to put your fucking phone away is Harrison Ford. So
Get that phone out of my theater.
I love the pointing. That's so good.
But yeah, I think overall, I enjoyed it the same. I mean, I think Rotten Tomatoes was a little too harsh on this. So yeah, I want to watch it again just to see if it's like, especially with these Marvel movies, like a big part of the enjoyment's like, oh, there's a whole new story and you're like learning all this stuff about this universe and it's expanding. But how much of that is gone once I go back and rewatch it? So I want to try to rewatch it soon.
So here's my question though, and this is okay. I am super hyped to see Anthony Mackie as Captain America on the big screen.
Yeah.
But I feel like he was better served in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And then you had the falling through of Armor Wars. And I'm wondering if they're just having a difficult time with this next generation of key characters, right?
I have a theory about this. So,
Okay.
and I think this is my hope is that this is the last film where Marvel kind of took its eye off the ball. So I think this is all theory on my behalf. Some theory, some just factual things. But I don't think they really had a plan post Endgame. I think they were like, we got through Endgame, and then they had like a couple of projects there. They had Miss Marvel, Hawkeye, and WandaVision, like that they were already cooking up for Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But I think that they were kind of like transitioning from like, we're doing these movies that we have this Disney Plus thing that we need to start providing content for. So I think that they kind of downshifted into like, let's tell some longer stories, some more like character stuff and not this overarching story. Well, then it got interrupted with COVID.
Yeah.
And then there was a writer's strike. And then, I think that their shift in how they wanted to create content, coupled with the pandemic, coupled with the writer's strike, I think maybe Kevin Feige was probably away dealing with like some real top level stuff, and maybe took his eye off of like what was being created. And then it just took him forever to catch up. So I think knowing that this movie had full on reshoots, reworking and everything, I'm like, maybe this is the last one, because I haven't heard anything bad. I haven't really heard anything about Thunderbolts.
Right. Yeah. We haven't heard any like reshoots or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I'm 100% confident
and
Kevin Feige was like all in on Fantastic Four. Like, he was laser focused on that.
Well, because this was supposed to come out a lot earlier, right? Like this was in the queue like a year ago.
This was supposed to be called New World Order first, but then
that's right.
There is a character that has maybe some political issues that maybe they kind of minimized in here. So like, there's definitely a lot of stuff happening. But I think the movie, the central theme of the movie is that the same way that Captain America, Steve Rogers, was at odds with the government, Sam Wilson, Captain America, is at odds with the government, but for completely different reasons, right? Some of those were explored in Falcon and the Winter Soldier series, especially at the end when he does a big speech. And some of that follows through into this film, but then it's kind of like intercut with all this other stuff. So like the message is not as, it doesn't feel like as cohesive as it could have. Maybe that's the original, and I think that's why they got this director specifically to tell that story. But then, like Jeff was saying, like they have to pivot, and it's kind of like when you're in a gigantic ship or an 18-wheeler or something, you can't just turn on a dime, right? You have to like start making adjustments little by little, and then you kind of finally get to the right path. So it does definitely. I mean, the end credit scene definitely points to like where we think we're all going. So make sure to stay all the way till the end of the credits for that.
Okay. Well, and to add to your theory, Jeff, as well, I feel like as they were then planning out this next set of stuff, Kang was the big bad. Right. And then with everything that happened with Jonathan Majors, it threw a huge wrench in that. So yeah, that does make sense. I guess I'm just kind of sad because I felt like personally the pivot to the Disney Plus series and I'm using that term in plural, was fantastic. I thought all those were really good. I like the long form storytelling. And so I feel like they're trying to take stuff that maybe works really well in that longer format and then cram it into a 2-hour film, you know? And it may need that breathing space. So, which again is, if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't think there's going to be a single thing wrong with Fantastic Four, but I've always said it needed to be a series, right? Yeah. You need to see those characters long term, not just in a brief spurt. Sorry for using the word spurt.
Yeah, ironically, the Falcon and Winter Soldier suffered from made like rewrites and stuff too, because originally the plot was supposed to be like some kind of virus unleashed on the world, right?
Yeah.
And then COVID happens, and we're like, oh no,
we can't do that.
Yeah,
but for real.
Like they still pulled that off with aplomb. I mean, I feel like that series is one of the best ones. I mean, not the best. I'm still going to go with WandaVision. But...
I think it's very watchable. I think, and I think Loki's probably my favorite, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So my plan is to maybe revisit Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then try to go to watch this again at the theater.
Makes sense.
And kind of come. I mean, so here I'll start with Hulk. I'll start with Incredible Hulk, because apparently this is.
I've still never seen it. That is the one movie I've never seen.
You may want to watch it before you go watch it. Like Jeff said, it is not a direct sequel, but it's definitely like there's a news report dump of exposition to tell you what happened in that movie. In the first 5 minutes of the movie, which I was like, this is funny, but I mean, I understand why you have to do this.
Because they're like, hey, people, do you guys remember we made a Hulk movie after Iron Man?
Iron Man was sequel. Is a 15-year-old.
I don't spoil.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, anyways, there's a character that has some CGI that I didn't like very much. Jeff, you probably know who I'm talking about. I don't want to spoil anything. Where it feels unnecessary, feels like they could have gone practical, and like this actor is so good that he could have just acted through all the practical stuff. So yeah, but that's it. I mean, I'll probably do like a longer movie review, but those are my feelings on. I still recommend you go watch it and like go at it with like your popcorn brain of like, I just want to be entertained. You know, this is you're not gonna go see The Brutalist. Like, this is not what that is, right? Adrian Brody could never do a flip in the air with his wings. So
it's not as it's weird because it's a different kind of like rage inducing for me watching it, because I'm like, it's one of those movies where I'm like, there are so many good parts to it, and I feel like they're just all just kind of like, not wasted, because that's harder than what I want to say, but lightly wasted, you know, kind of like
yep.
Near misses, maybe
the word.
Okay.
All right. Any last thoughts on? So Josh, did we convince you? Or are you gonna go watch it at some point? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely do need to see Hulk beforehand.
I would recommend that for sure. Just, okay. I mean, I think Incredible Hulk's a pretty entertaining movie as well.
That's what there was just always something about it, and I think it was just maybe I'm not a huge Edward Norton fan when it's obvious he doesn't want to do something, right? And it felt like he was just really not into this movie at all. So
I think he was a little too into the movie. That was the problem.
Oh, really? Okay.
He was making changes, and he was being very difficult because he was actually pretty invested in the film. So
maybe that's what bugs me then.
Tim Roth's in it. I think he's fantastic.
That I'm hyped about. Also in She-Hulk. So
Nelson's in it. You know, William Hurt, and
of
course, I think we all love to see Liv Tyler. So
I mean, I forgot Liv Tyler is in that.
Yeah. So, all right, cool.
And Phil Dunphy.
Phil Dunphy's in it. That's right.
Is he really? Holy shit! All right, well, I'm in. I like me some Phil Dunphy.
Is he a named character, Jeff? I can't remember.
I don't I don't remember who. I mean, like, I know who he is in the movie, but I don't know if
he's
he's
not
a
supposed to be
comic character.
Samson, right? The psychiatrist, the Hulk psychiatrist.
He's Doc Samson? No way.
I don't think so, but he's a character like that. But I don't think he's supposed to.
Yeah, I don't think
Hang
he's
on.
Doc Samson.
He is. His entire listing is Leonard.
Be. Okay, yeah, no, he's not. Okay,
Well,
Leonard Sampson is his name.
Leonard Sampson is what I was thinking too. Isn't that his first name?
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be that guy. Yeah.
Can you imagine if they made Phil Dunphy Doc Samson?
Ponytail. Ponytail.
I have to pick between his Modern Family money and the Marvel money.
It'd be funny. What if there's a throwaway line in the Hulk that we're all just forgetting about, where he's just like, "Oh, what if I grow a ponytail or something?" Where I'm like, "It is Doc Samson."
Hey, Leonard came in the chat. I don't care what the reviews are. I'm gonna watch Brave New World. In fact, the way people are hating it makes me think I like it. Leonard Kim, I think you're gonna enjoy it as well.
Yeah, I think you'll like it, Leonard Kim.
So,
I also wouldn't like, but that was because the reviews started coming out before I saw it, and like a lot of the reviews were kind of like, honestly, they're kind of like what I saw in it. But I do think that Marvel has that kind of Kansas City Chiefs-ness where they were on top for so long. People are like, if it's not like what I want to see, then I'm gonna dog on it. So I usually, when people get negative Marvel reviews, I kind of like, well, that's just people hating on Marvel.
Yeah. Take it with a grain of salt.
I take it with a grain of salt.
All right. Let's talk about some stuff, other movies. Let me run through some movies because I watched a bunch of things. Apparently, I didn't realize. So last weekend, I rewatched Conclave. Have either of you guys actually make time to watch Conclave?
I want to watch Conclave. It's on my list of things. We always make a joke anytime we want to watch. We go Conclave, Conclave, Conclave.
I think this last rewatch made me bump it up like half a star.
Really? Which is to what?
A 4.5.
Oh wow! Okay, all right.
Where I think this should have been on my best movies of 2024, and I regret not putting it on there now.
Interesting.
It's so good.
Is that Mexican Catholicism coming out of you?
You know, that's part of it for sure. I'm not like a practicing Catholic or anything, but I do find there's something like mystical about like the going on of the church, right? Like the rituals and all this stuff.
I did find it interesting.
Leonard Kim.
See, that's funny because the review I read, which I think was on Slate, was like, there is no reason this boring ass movie should be nominated for an Oscar. It's like, please don't nominate this boring ass movie for an Oscar, like something like that. So
this is just like characters like doing their best. Like with this cast, there's no way you make a bad movie. Like Ray Fiennes, John Lithgow, Stanley Tucci, like what's her name, Rosalina.
Isabella. Yeah.
There's just no way to make a bad. Like it's impossible to make a bad movie with this cast.
But does it break the mood when the Pope like flies through the ceiling and starts snapping necks? Like I feel like that was the moment in the trailer that lost me.
Battle Pope. Yeah,
Battle Pope. Yeah.
I you know, they need to stop. What's his name?
The Rock.
The Walking Dead. Creator of The Walking Dead.
Kirkman.
Kirkman, yeah, Robert Kirkman. I can't believe he got to adapt Battle Pope and change the name to Conclave.
What's still weird is he doesn't show up till like the hour 50-minute mark. You know, I mean, you only got like 10 minutes of Battle Pope. It's Bride of Frankenstein all over again.
It's like they're setting up the Battle Pope universe. It's very good. It's on Peacock, so like if you have do what I do. If you have the ad supported plan, just throw it on, go get your snacks, come back 3 minutes later, and your movie's ready to go.
Oh, there you go.
Because it's all front-loaded ads for the movies. So
the best way to go.
Also, for the first time, I watch Sicario. This is the Denis Villeneuve film with Emily Blunt, Guillermo Toro, Benicio del Toro, Josh Brolin. Man, Villeneuve knows how to make a fucking movie, huh? Like, It's really good. I don't know why I hadn't seen it. Like I've tried to watch it a few times, and I get to the scene on the bridge. I don't. Have you guys seen Sicario?
Mm-mm.
Oh my goodness! All right,
I've heard it's good. I've heard it's really
there's a
good.
scene 15 minutes in where it looks like it's gonna be like an all-out action battle, but I should have known better because Denis Villeneuve he's such a good filmmaker that he's not just gonna give you like the big gun shootout that you think is gonna happen. This movie is all about building tension,
Mm.
and it just keeps going, and it feels bad, and you're just falling into it. It's really good. I think it's leaving Prime at the end of the month, and then it's going to Netflix because I was looking for it, a way to watch it, and Netflix told me to add it to like a reminder. So that means they don't have it yet, and then Prime has a warning that it's leaving. So I'm thinking that's what's going to happen. But yeah, Sicario, really good. Denis Villeneuve, amazing filmmaker, apparently. I want to go back and rewatch Prisoners because I haven't seen that in a long time, and I feel like I need to log that on Letterboxd. So, all right, a couple more movies. The Witcher, Fire into the Deep. That's a new Netflix animated Witcher thing, which it turned out to be The Witcher meets the Little Mermaid.
Yes.
That's somehow weirdly appropriate. And I say this again, if you've the live action series in the first season taps into this, but if you've read the original stories that inspired The Witcher, they're all kind of playing off of fairy tales.
Yeah.
So that's impressive. I like that.
It was pretty interesting. I liked it. I liked the animation. We got a full review for that on the channel. You want to go check that out. I also watch One of Them Days. It finally hit digital, and I was like, all right, I need to get on it. I love Keke Palmer. I'm not as familiar with. Oh man, I'm gonna sound real old here. SZA, I think that's how you said their name. It's just SZA. I know that no one here can help me, unfortunately.
Nope. Nope.
So, in the chat if I said that wrong, but it's just a really fun, like buddy comedy, kind of like first of the month, rent's due. We don't have the money, and we got to figure out how to pay it. It felt like a contemporary movie, like Friday or something like that, where it's like really like thank you, Leonard Trim. SZA. Okay, yeah, I was close. I think SZA. Yeah. I need to learn how to say it before I actually do the full review for the movie. Otherwise, I'm gonna sound like
actually don't. And then afterwards when you edit it, just add like do a terrible voiceover, like a very obvious voiceover of SZA.
Well, funny enough, they just made the same joke, kind of similar joke on St. Denis Medical this week.
Oh, really?
Because the administrator lady was giving out tickets to one of her shows.
Okay.
Or something. But she said it like Zah or something. Like she said it bad. And then one of the employees says it the correct way. So I need to go back and listen to her say it. And she was like, oh, yeah, some people say it like that. That's right. I've heard that before. So it was very interesting timing because I think I watched that on Tuesday and then I watched the movie on Wednesday.
Interesting.
And then the last movie I watched, and then we can move on to someone else. The best movie for Valentine's Day this year that you don't want to miss. It's on Apple TV by one of my favorite directors, Scott Derrickson. It is The Gorge. This is the film with Anna Taylor-Joy and what's his name?
Miles Teller?
The Last Mr. Fantastic.
Miles Teller?
Yeah. Miles Teller. Thank you. It's I really had a good time with it. Like the first part of the movie is it's kind of like these two people that are lost in the world trying to like find a connection, and they just both happen to be overlooking this gorge and whatever doing their mission. And then the second part of the film escalates into like this horror adventure thing, almost like a dark fantasy, like I don't know, war movie. It's very cool. I really like Scott Derrickson. I love his visuals. And then these are two great performers. So yeah, had a really good time watching Magic and the old Mr. Fantastic running around shooting guns. So that's it. But yeah, that one's on Apple TV. So it just came out, and like I said, very fitting for Valentine's Day. So
Adding that to my watch list.
great.
There
All right, that's all I have. That's all the movies I watch. I watch a lot of movies, not a lot of new TV, just my regular shows. I'm still watching Spider-Man. I'm still enjoying it very much.
All right, I need to start that because every time I see clips of it, it looks really fun.
The animation is not my favorite, but once you kind of get used to it, like they're going so deep with the lore, and it's a really fun combination of like MCU lore and then like comic book lore, and they're like remixing it in a fun way because they don't have to. This isn't an MCU prequel show anymore, so they could do whatever they want.
Is it going to be?
It was originally just going to be like a prequel to the Spider-Man that we know,
like Homecoming.
They reworked the show, I guess.
Interesting. Okay.
They forgot who Peter Parker was, and then they had to rework the show.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige was like, Peter Parker, what is this project? Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I don't know. Do whatever y'all want. And then I'm also watching Invincible, which another fantastic. We got the return of the Battle Beast on this last one, and I was very excited. And Harley Quinn's also very good. A lot of good animation for like these comic book shows.
I still need to finish
Kite Man? Hell yeah.
Creature Commandos.
Oh. Did you watch Kite Man? Did either of you guys watch Kite Man? Do you guys just hate animation? If it's not,
I guess I do. I don't.
I just
a cartoon from the 80s. You guys refuse to watch it?
no.
Really?
So I think what happened is I wanted to watch Harley Quinn when it first came out, but I knew Hazel would want to see it. And she was still pretty young.
Okay.
But she's old enough now. I mean, for God's sakes, we're watching Preacher and Twin Peaks, so I could probably start watching it with her. So anyway.
I mean, yeah, because it's 5 seasons, so at least 5 years, but probably a little more.
Probably a little more. So.
Wow. All right, cool. Josh, you don't watch anything, but there's one thing you want to talk about before we get into comics.
Yeah, I just added it actually. So I pre-ordered the new game Avowed, which is by Obsidian, and it's actually set in the same world as their earlier RPGs, Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2, which I loved. Avowed is different, though. It's not a top-down CRPG. It is a first-person Skyrim-like RPG. But because I pre-ordered it, I got access a few days early, so I think it actually comes out on Tuesday. I'm really enjoying it so far. It's the combat's a little like at normal setting, it's a little brutal, but the setting, the graphics are just stunning. It's a beautiful, beautiful game. And so if you have an Xbox and you have Game Pass, yeah, there we go. If you have Xbox and you have Game Pass, it will be on there day one. So highly recommend it. It's been, again, I'm not very far in. I think the other thing I like is you can pick a kind of a quote unquote class, but it doesn't limit the type of weapons in the game you can use. Mm-hmm. So any weapon you find, you can basically pick up, but you're making a choice, right? Like, all right, this, Warhammer is two-handed. It does a lot of damage, but it swings slowly versus I can hold a dagger in this hand and a grimoire in this hand and shoot spells and stabby. So,
got it.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting. I mean, the art I pulled up looks cool.
It's beautiful art, and it's Obsidian, so the storytelling is great. I mean, I would say it already has, I think, a more engaging story than other RPGs I play, where it just feels very rote. This one kind of throws you in with a very clear purpose of what's going on. And I think it's because it's the third game in this setting, so they kind of know what they're doing. So
they finally got it right.
Well, I would say they got it right in the first two games too, but
you heard it here first. Josh says they finally got it right.
They finally right. Yeah, Josh Sawyer, please come talk to me. So anyway, it's good.
Give us your side of the ordeal. All right. Well, let's just talk about comics. Then Jeff can talk about comics, and then we'll come back to me for my comics.
Okay. Oh, me then? Okay.
Yeah. Just keep going.
Sure. All right. So this is what I picked up this week, although it had a couple from last week in it too. These are the ones I haven't read yet. Batman Dark Patterns, number 3. I got as far as one scene on page 2 that I was like, I am going to have nightmares.
It's very gruesome. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else reading this Lucky Devils by the same team that did 8 Billion Genies? I haven't read issue 2 yet, but I love the concept they lay out in issue 1, which is essentially to every person. I got that impression. Most people on Earth have a devil assigned to them, and they're the ones that make them do just unexpectedly bad things, right? And 2 people, their devils reveal themselves to them. And part of the reason is because the devils basically just don't want to do this job anymore. They're trying to find an out. We all got different covers. I love it. So anyway, so it's a great conceit, just like 8 Billion Genies was. It seems very much like Charles Soule and Ryan Brown like to play with this idea of average humans having some otherworldly thing impact them and follow them around, because it's not that far off from 8 Billion Genies, honestly. So, but anyway, it's good.
And if you believe Dante, we'll probably have 9 issues.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, their outline here.
Makes sense. Yep. Which, again, while you read this, you also have to read the Divine Comedy. So,
you didn't have that in hand. I like that.
I did. Yes. Welcome to my nerdery.
In case
good job, Professor.
Like, what was that level of hell where they do this messed up thing to you?
Yeah, that's my grading rubric. So anyway, also picked up Welcome to the Maynard, number 3. I haven't read it yet, but I'm really enjoying this.
Nice.
I love the art. J-Bone is great.
Okay.
I find it weird. It really doesn't feel like a James Robinson book, which I'm still trying to scratch my head around, or wrap my head around. But it's good. It's fun.
Nice.
I'm just buying this at this point just to read all at once, because I haven't even started the first issue. But Where Monsters Lie, Cul-de-sac, issue 4. I do like this Dan Hip cover, so I had to get that.
Nice.
And then this, good, Danny. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say that's Kyle Starks, right?
Yeah, Kyle Starks and Peter Kowalski.
The continuation of their first.
Their
a really fun idea.
Yeah, I will be honest. I really only bought this for the cover, because I'm really not a big fan of. Is this IDW? Who is this?
Dynamite, I think.
Oh, Dynamite. Sorry, I'm really not a big fan of Dynamite's like girly books at all. This has it's very strange. It has a Gulliver Jones story, which is part 3, so I have no fucking clue what's going on. It has a John Carter of Mars story, which I feel like they're not doing good stuff with that. It has a Vampirella story, which is all right. The Red Sonja story is fantastic, though, and the art is great. It's black, white, and red, which is really cool. It's called Seeing Red. Anyway, but yeah, I bought it. I love the cover. I kind of flipped through it and went, meh.
I saw that one at my shop, too. I almost grabbed it just because it's such a cool cover.
It is, yeah. I would love this if it were true, like old school fantasy pulp, you know, but it's Dynamite, so it's not. I did also, of course, I'm continuing to read Transformers, and I gotta confess here, guys, there are too many plot lines happening in this book. I am struggling to keep up with what the fuck is going on. I think the moment way back in issue 6 or 7, where they turned on that machine and then Cybertron and Earth blended together, I've been lost ever since. I don't know what the hell. Am I the only one? Is anyone else experiencing this as well?
Well, it is getting a little there. You do have 4 or 5 different things happening in this book now, and on top of that, there's also something's coming, because if you're reading Void Rivals, you know that whatever's happening in Transformers is about to smash right into what's about to happen or what's going on. So I'm with you. The thing I like about this book is that it's basically everybody has PTSD in this book. Every robot has some form of PTSD in this book.
Absolutely.
Wait, there we go. Damn it! Oh my God,
You do it.
Got him, coach. I think it helps me that I do reviews for this every time, so like I have to like try to pay attention to the plot. I still struggle with there's so many names in these robots. How did you guys keep up with all the names of the robots?
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, see, I couldn't buy them all. I have no idea. I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything. I have no idea who shows up at the end. I've never heard of this person.
Yeah,
I think that's a new character. I've never heard of that person either. Or if it is, it might be a second generation character that they created later on or somebody.
No, and the thing also, so what they drop onto the device at the end, like, what is that? Is that Soundwave or not Soundwave?
I think it's the other bot, right? That is stuck in the wall or whatever.
Is that who it was? They got out of the wall?
I think so.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, that feels like that's what. I mean, if you look at this cover, that's what it's all about, right? He's just trying to get.
That's
like, I need to get you out of there.
Yeah, but isn't that a Decepticon?
There's three things going on, right?
So I think that happened in the first arc. So there's the one computer, that's one transformer who's like more like a computer. I can't remember his name, but that's the one Teletran one kind of thing who was rebuilding all the Autobots.
Yeah,
but it started rebuilding Decepticons, so Optimus Prime had to destroy it, and then Starscream used one of the flyers to put back into Teletran 1 so they could go back to recreating. So he kind of merged these two bots. So this is his other brother trying to get him out of the thing. Yeah. So it's a picked up plot line from like 15 issues ago or something.
Right. All right. Well, thank you, because I totally forgot about that. I guess so. Here's my complaint. I'm kind of surprised they didn't do the Transformers what they did with the G.I. Joe side, which is, why is this not 2 books? Have Transformers, Autobots, Transformers, Decepticons, and just like spread out those 2 stories, right? Because it's like so much is happening in here that, you know, I find it really hard to keep up, particularly month to month. Maybe this will read better in trade, but I don't know.
We have Beachcomber and RC looking for Magnus.
Right.
We have Optimus and the gang trying to save people while the Decepticons are fighting, right?
Something's going wrong with Optimus, right? He's having these weird things, yeah.
And then we have what's a cliff jumper got
stuck. Cliff jumper, and it's not RC, it's the other one.
Alita 1. I always get those 2 mixed because there's like the pink Autobot ladies.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
There's only 2 girls.
But
there's Smurfette and Smurfette 2. That's it.
But I like the idea that all the Transformers, the Autobots that got stuck in Cybertron, they're so different than the ones that are on Earth. Like, they're more militant. They're a lot more like rough around the edge because they've been through some stuff. And now Cliff Jumper is stuck with them, and he kind of like he evolved in a different way, right? When he was up on Earth, so.
Well, and you've got parallel to him, Beachcomber, who we get the explanation in this issue about why he's effectively a pacifist, right? So,
really, really fun premise for Autobot.
And then especially for like a guy named Beachcomber, where you're just like, he's just a chill dude, just like hanging out on the beach.
I just want to go surf, man.
Yeah, come on, let's just go look for seashells, bro.
And also, spoilers for the last issue. At the end, we finally see Megatron in the proper series.
Yep, that's the first time.
A new pair of eyes for now.
So, I did also read. I couldn't pass up issue 1 of Green Lantern Corps. What do you guys think?
It's a lot. There's a lot happening in that issue.
It is a lot. Yeah,
we're gonna throw everyone in here. I can see there's 2 writers.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I'm gonna keep going because I'm interested in this whole like fractured lantern spectrum war that they're doing. But it was very difficult to like get through all the whole thing.
I am kind of with you, although I think I went in with both feet. I just jumped right in. I was totally on board with, because I love the concept of the Green Lantern Corps. I do also like how fundamentally the Corps at this moment is all women led, which I thought was kind of cool, right? I think, and also I just want to give props. I had to look his name up. It's Fernando Passarin.
Yeah.
Holy shit, the art in this is amazing. Like, it is beautiful. And it actually reminds me a lot of both 2000 AD, but also old Justice League. Back when you had, what's his face? Giffen wrote it, and D'Amatis wrote it. And then I forget I'm blanking the artist.
Oh, McGuire,
thank you. Just beautiful, beautiful art. A lot of character expression. A lot of, I think to your point, Danny, a lot of stuff happening in the background that if you're not paying attention will just go you like the moment right there where she walks by and she kind of pops this water creature and it just blows up all over Guy Gardner. So, but I also like the use of Sinestro in this, which I thought was really cool. Yeah, it was great. I had a really fun time with it, and it gave me flashbacks to the brief period when which I also liked, when I'm blanking on all fucking names. Grant Morrison was writing Green Lantern, and it felt very much like Space Cop in 2000 AD kind of thing.
Yeah.
But this feels less dark. I think there was this very dark undertone with Morrison's run, and this feels much lighter. So
the Morrison run on Green Lantern is wild.
It is wild. It starts off like, I think at the time I compared it to Fantastic Four, like I do today, which is it felt very much like single issue stories. And then by the end of the first arc, it just goes off the rails into this like big storyline. So yeah,
because it's the first arc is like a procedural, and then the second arc like it turns to the Dark Stars or whatever. He's a Dark Star for a while, and then the third arc comes back, and then he to wrap.
I didn't know there was a third arc.
I think there is.
Yeah, I couldn't finish it. I couldn't get through it. It was too weird for me.
I did, but my pick of the week.
Oh, I know where you're going.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're not surprised it's on the document. I don't know where.
Right.
Way to tell it.
I almost picked up that green cover. I really wanted to, but I can't pass up Magnola. So I loved this, and I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. It felt weirdly timely to be reading it. I kept wanting to post like panels and from the first couple pages. Like,
you guys like, I would rather live in the Marvel universe, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Who, raise your hand if you'd rather be living in Latveria right now? Like,
hey, just from the get-go, like free healthcare and education, I'm in, you know? So I really love this. The only thing was, so I didn't get the credits until the end. Well, they don't show the credits till the end. So I went in not knowing any of the creators. I didn't know who was doing this. I really liked the art, but I felt like the art and the writing weren't quite meshing for me because it's actually quite funny, and it didn't click until I got to the end and realized, oh, it's Ryan North doing this, right? And like it didn't click for me at all. But I haven't really had a moment like this before where I felt like both the art and the writing were good, but they were independently good. Like they didn't seem to mesh together for me well.
See, I talked about that in my review. That
interesting.
The art to me, especially the colors to this, feel very saturated.
Yeah,
and I think that's to kind of like to evoke this feeling of that there's something off with the world. Like Doom is the Sorcerer Supreme. We don't know what he's doing. We don't know how he's achieving what he's achieving. We get little hints at it on this one, and I was thinking that was the approach. Like the Marvel universe usually looks one way.
Yeah.
Now that Doom is in charge or whatever's happening, it's a little bit turned up, and I figured that I don't know if that's the intent or not. That's just kind of what I took away from it. yeah, I really liked it. I like when we see the heroes in the meeting, like that big room.
It makes me think
Squirrel
about
there.
like Squirrel Girl's there
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Ryan North writes Squirrel Girl, so
I think he did a while back. That's
yeah.
probably the
Yeah.
reason that she's in there. And then
But
you
yeah,
get the big
oh,
moments, right? Doom and the T-Rex, and like
that was a great callback. I love that callback. I like Ben's comment. Like, yeah, we know where this is from. It turned out differently than we thought. So, I mean, but again, props to Ryan North. He's so good at this of balancing humor and there is a clear sense of danger in this, right? Like, there's a moment, I don't want to spoil, where you find out what happens between Doom and Hydra, and it's intense. I was like, holy shit, they went there. What is up with Tony's armor in this?
oh, he's poor.
Okay,
They stole
All right.
his back, so he's got to go.
he's still living in his garage. I take it.
Not as bad, but remember in
He's
West Coast
got-
Avengers, he had to show up with like batteries taped to his suit.
See, I didn't read that, but when that new Iron Man book came out, was it by Duggan?
No, well, Duggan finished his run and somebody else took over.
All right, it
It's
was
a little bit of a status quo, but he's struggling to get his Stark Tech back.
Gotcha.
Kind of that's why his suits are not like top of the line as they usually are.
I did love it though. Just this weird like steampunk.
It is a cool armor. It is not. Yeah, I read the first issue of that new line, but I was just like, I'm out because they had just given him his money back at the end of the last arc with Jerry Duggan, and then the very first issue they were like, "And you're broke again."
And you're broke again.
Yeah. That was my complaint when I was doing the review. I was like, wait, we just did this. Hold on a second.
Well,
Is
it's
there another story? Does this man have another story that's not him being drunk or him being poor?
Yeah,
it's sort of like with Daredevil now. It's like I feel like every time someone takes him over, it's like, do people know his identity or not? You know, like where are we going here? So, but yeah,
I enjoyed the story about Matt being Catholic. How about that? Huh? I'm gonna turn this character on his head.
Yeah, if we don't get a nun like bringing him back to health in Born Again, I'm gonna be pissed. Anyway, I did really like this. I always want to give props when you read what is very clearly the start of a big storyline that riffs off of earlier stuff, and you really don't need any prior knowledge.
Yeah.
I think North did a great job with this. You can just jump right in. It makes sense. Yes, they do have little editorial like as happened in this, and this. So if you want to go back and, with the breadcrumb trail, you can, but it's not required. So.
All right. Jeff, any thoughts?
You know what I enjoyed about this also is that there are so many characters packed into this book.
Yeah.
But they all still kind of have like their own little voices, even though they're all like, I say this one line for this one panel kind of thing.
Yes.
But they all still kind of feel like Ryan North is so good. It all still feels like, oh, Tony would say that, or Carol would say that. Or
I still have no clue who Brain Drain is.
Me neither, or Nancy Whitehead.
I didn't know Nancy Whitehead. Yeah.
So I'll be reading most of the times and let you guys know which ones are the good ones.
Okay, thank you. Because as usual, I will only read the main title.
That's right. But
by the way, I posted about this on social media. I'm still fucking pissed off at Marvel with this goddamn bullshit where I cannot get these off and there's no way to reveal the code or the QR code. I just get your shit together, Marvel, all right?
They're childproof.
Drives me insane.
All right, cool. All right, Jeff, why don't you keep talking to us about the rest of the comics that we haven't touched on yet?
Sure. But I did watch 2 movies. I can talk about my 2 movies that I did watch.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Sorry. Yeah.
I watched the movies Down with Love. Have you guys seen this movie before?
Love that movie. Oh, it's so good. It's on Criterion right now.
Is it? Oh, okay. Good. Yeah. I have it on DVD because I'm that guy. Yeah, Ewan McGregor, Renee Zellweger, wacky throwback to 50s screwball comedy. But this was made by
Singing,
Peyton Reed
dancing.
back in the early 2000s. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
So good. It's such a good movie. If you haven't seen it, highly suggest it. Renee Zellweger plays an author who writes a book that is like it's a nonfiction book for women that's like, hey, just learn how to untangle your thoughts of sex and love from one another. Make sex its own thing, love its own thing, and then you can rank up in the world because you're not so worried about getting a husband or whatever. Like you're just like focused on your career or whatever. And it's about the, women finding their own power, but it's also secretly she's trying to get fall in love, or she's trying to get Ewan McGregor to fall in love with her. There's like twist after twist, kind of, but it's a big screwball comedy with a lot of double entendre stuff. David Hyde Pierce is in it. He's really funny. Sarah Pauli's in it. She's super funny. A lot of great costuming. Just very light. Just kind of bounced along. Super fun movie.
Can I just say a great double feature is that movie followed by A Life Less Ordinary.
Yeah. I can see it.
Yeah.
The other movie I watched is Better Off Dead, John Cusack.
So a classic.
Super great movies. Directed, written by Savage Steve Holland.
Yeah.
I think also did Eek the Cat.
He did one other movie as well.
One Crazy Summer.
One Crazy Summer. Thank you.
Yes. It's peak Cusack, I think. This is Say Anything in this. That's peak Cusack. It's silly comedy, just a romp of not a romp, just a crazy comedy. Abstract. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but absurd. Yeah, very absurd. Great line. Shame people be. The whole movie, John Cusack is kind of trying to himself because he's depressed about a breakup, and he tries to jump off a bridge and he ends up jumping into a giant dumpster truck. And then there's like some electricians working on a thing on some wires. They're looking down, they look at John Cusack in the dumpster truck, and they're like, it's a shame people be throwing away a perfectly good white man like that. And it's just in this truck. Curtis Armstrong is in it. He does a lot of drugs. He tries to inhale the whole mountaintop because it's pure snow. There's so many great lines in this movie. It's so stupid. It's so funny. It's so
I want my $2. That kid's in it.
The Paperboy. Yeah, definitely worth watching.
The thing is Better Off Dead and Heathers are the two best examples of movies you can make in the 80s that are beloved, that today would come with massive trigger warnings. So
see, I was watching this. I was like, oh, I should watch Harold and Maude, which is also like a movie that is full of like, oh, you need a trigger warning for this.
Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have you seen Better Off Dead, Danny?
No, I haven't. I was looking.
It's so good.
I don't know. The last 10 minutes for me have been like, I'm just,
I think you would like both of these movies.
Yeah.
You should watch both of these movies. These are going on we're going to make Danny watch movies list.
Not the biggest Zellweger over here. Man over here.
This is musical comedy Zellweger. So this is
I think she's.
This is probably my favorite Zellweger, honestly. I like her. I mean, I'm trying to think of any other. I don't. Maybe Chicago.
I do like her in Bridget Jones.
Yeah, I'm not a big Bridget Jones head. It's just one of those things that.
But I get her confused with. Never mind. It'll come to me.
Meg Ryan.
Tomorrow, when you're like just doing like driving.
Beyonce.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God, I'm not that bad.
I did pick up a hard copy of Bug Wars, which did we read this part? We read that for the show, didn't we?
I almost got that. Yeah.
It's good. So good.
So good. We have a review of it from when we read it back in December.
Absolute Batman #4. This one's brutal. Man, this was a brutal issue.
5.
Absolute Batman. 5. Yeah, 5.
Yes.
Brutal issue. Batman definitely gets his butt
Cool.
kicked and kicks butts.
Call back to the Dark Knight movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really cool though. So good.
Yeah, there's I really like Victor Goda's artwork is great. This Batman costume is crazy. This new Batman costume. This Avengers, I like this issue of Avengers. I guess Jed McKay really loves Black Cat because she pops up in all of his stuff. But this is a fun issue.
He wrote it for like I don't know, 2-3 different series. So yeah.
She popped up in Doctor Strange by him as well. The moon is following us. What is this? 6?
Did I pick that up? Feels like I picked that up. It was a big week for comics for me.
Oh, got a ton. I have a ton over here. I still haven't read yet. But yeah. In fact, the ones that I have not read, Feral number 10. I haven't gotten to yet. This Batman and Robin, newest Batman and Robin issue. I'm liking this series. It's good.
Follow the House of Wayne.
This Action Comics. I also picked up Batman Dark Patterns. I haven't gotten to the gory parts yet. Ultimates number 9. I finally picked up.
You got, because some of your stuff got delayed, right? From last week.
Which meant I got 2 issues of X-Men this week.
Hello. I didn't realize X-Men was coming out so quickly. That's why Ryan Stegman can't do it all.
I guess that makes I don't know why I thought we got 2 issues because it was just the shipping delay thing, and I don't know.
That was only like a week delay, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Namor, I'm really enjoying, and then this is my last issue because I canceled it after this one of Amazing Spider-Man.
That's funny because the tie-in starts next issue to the Doom.
Well, that's what he's like, isn't this thing almost over? And I was like, I don't know, but I'm done reading it because it was promised as an Ed McGuinness, Joe Casey like little mini story. They've only done 2 issues so far together. Joe Casey's done 3 issues. Ed McGuinness has done 2. They did advertise that they're coming back for this. I think it was in this One World Under Doom. There's an ad for an upcoming Spider-Man issue where they're both back and Spider-Man's wearing like the Juggernaut armor.
Oh man, I hated that. I saw that ad and I was like, that looks terrible.
I was like, I thought it would kind of look cool, but I'm like, you're 4 issues too late for me. Like if you title something The 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, you need to have 9 issues tops. Like but I don't know how many issues we're into this. They're adding point issues. I hate it when Marvel adds point issues.
Oh, gross. Yeah.
So the more I read it, the more I'm like, I'm being taken for a ride every single time I read this. So I was just like, I'm out. I don't care how much longer.
Read my Ultimate Spider-Man with no fuss, no muss.
Exactly. That's what. And I'm sorry, Joe Casey. I'm not picking up your new Amazing Spider-Man either because I feel. Also, this is my problem with 616 Peter.
Here we go.
Is that let me get on the soapbox. Clay's not here. I'm gonna stand on his soapbox. Get better, Clay. 616 Peter Parker needs to grow up. The editors at Marvel, get down, stop it. For years they were like, no kid wants a Spider-Man that's married with kids. The kids don't want Peter Parker to be a dad. And I'm like, well, you've got 15 different spider people running around. Now Peter Parker just looks sad. When Miles Morales has his life more together than Peter Parker does, I mean, it's pathetic for Peter Parker. When Cindy Moon has her life more together, and when you got a kid named Spider-Boy who's like, what the heck's wrong with you? To Peter Parker, I'm like, Peter Parker, get your act together. Like, you dated Jessica Jones in high school, and she's married and has a kid now.
Yeah.
And like there's all this stuff around him, and you're like, you keep trying to put Peter in this like, oh, but we don't want him to grow up. And I'm like, well, now he's depressing me to read because I'm like, I'm a grown man reading a comic book about a man that can't grow up, and I don't want to read my comic book anymore because it makes me feel bad about myself.
That's why I left you for Paul, Peter.
And and I'm sorry, this is going to sound terrible. I would worry about any editor of a line at Marvel who thinks kids are their primary audience. That is fundamentally not the case. So
exactly. Exactly. I think there's plenty of room for like let Miles be the kid. Like everybody, all the kids love him anyway.
Right. Yeah.
Let Peter grow up.
Yep.
Oh,
I mean, and what's so weird is the Spider-Verse movies did this well, right? Peter that starts off sad in the first one and then ends up back with Mary Jane and has a kid in the second one. Like they got it. So yeah.
And you can see, like, it's not like they can't see the numbers where they're like, whoa, everybody loves Ultimate Spider-Man. What's the difference between that and 616? It's right there, guys. Like, I don't understand why you're not like just put the two together.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I reread this, revisited the death of Captain Marvel. Super
Speaking
fun
of
times.
becoming an adult, that'll grow you up quick.
Yeah.
I remember what a big fucking deal that was when it came out. And spoiler, it's cancer.
It's cancer. It's depressing.
Yeah.
Real depressing. This is a bummer to read as a little kid.
That superheroes can die. That's that should be the tagline of that book.
It's beautiful Jim Starlin art. Let me see if I can. Where's the big pig? Where's the big page?
The top.
Here it is. Look at
Oh, that is lovely. Look at that.
So many people on one page.
all those people. Eat your heart out, George Perez.
Whoa.
But yeah, it's one of those early life lessons for kids that there's no getting past cancer. It doesn't matter what superpowers you have.
That one was magazine size. That one wasn't for kids.
No, that was actually their early attempt at graphic novels.
Yeah, they made it very clear.
Yeah.
And then in honor of One World Under Doom, I went back
I've always
and
wanted to
read
read this.
Emperor Doom.
Is it good? I've never read it.
I really enjoy this book. It's a fun Avengers story. David Michelini, Bob Hall art.
Oh, it's Bob Hall. Okay.
Yeah. The premise is Dr. Doom kidnaps the Purple Man, creates a giant amplifier for Purple Man's powers, and just uses the Purple Man to take over the world. And it's basically the same thing as One World Under Doom. He goes in, marches into the United Nations with Purple Man's powers, and he's like, "Give me the world." And they're like, "Okay, go for it." And then he denuclearizes the world. He starts putting crops out, everybody gets health care, and he makes the world a better place.
Wow, this is really similar.
It is. It's really similar. The Avengers get together.
They found out about the other Doom book.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
it takes place in 60 pages or however long this is.
That dang internet.
So we have the template here, right? Kevin Feige, please, for fuck's sake, give us Robert Downey Jr. and David Tennant together as Dr. Doom and Purple Man. That'd be great.
100%. We can do this.
So,
ooh, have they cast that character in the MCU?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
not even a hint. All right.
Yeah, there is at the end when the Avengers obviously won, and they're like, "Did we do the right thing?" Because he basically There's also a point where Dr. Doom is like, "I can squash this little Avengers rebellion right now," but Dr. Doom is so beat down by the bureaucracy of running the world that he's just like, "I'm gonna let it play out, see what happens."
So the true way to defeat Dr. Doom, bureaucrats.
Yeah, just bore him to death.
Fuck, that also seems very timely.
All right. Anything else, Jeff?
No, that's my.
All right, let me go through my comics. Then we'll do we got a comic review coming up. So I picked up this comic from AWA called Camgirl. It's a one shot.
Oh.
It's very interesting. It follows the life of an adult content creator and all the perils and trappings and how messed up things can get. This is the Tula Lotte cover, but they're very different. It's more like this on the inside. Pretty cool though. I enjoyed it. I got a full review for it on the channel. I picked up. I haven't done a video for this, but I did pick up the Hive #1. It's a very weird story.
I almost got that.
I don't know if did either of you guys read it for a little. We were gonna do it last week, but then we ran out of time.
Yeah, no, I read the description of it and I nearly got it. I'm trying to stop starting new series every time one looks interesting.
I think it'll read better as a trade. I will say that.
Okay.
But it's kind of like about a cult, and there's a lot of bee imagery. So, but it was pretty interesting. Also, because I can't not pick up my boys. The Bad Batch is back in a Dark Horse Star Wars book. I love the Bad Batch.
Wait a minute, why is that a Dark Horse book?
Because they do the more kid friendly stories, like stuff like that.
Man, this Star Wars licensing is weird.
Hey, listen, they're just gonna get all that money from everybody. They don't care.
They own Marvel. What? Like, why? All right, never mind. Go on.
It's pretty good. I like it. And then if you like the Bad Batch, this takes place around the Clone Wars. So like you see Mace Windu. So before like Order 66 and all that. I did finally pick up my copy of Cruel Kingdom because it was delayed, which I had already read it, but I love it. I did see the other cover. You're right. This one's the better cover. Like out of the two. I also read DC versus Vampires, the one shot, and I picked up these connecting covers.
Oh, that's nice.
I know they got me to buy the same book twice.
Is that Barda?
It's Wonder Woman, but she's a vampire in this world.
Okay.
This is Alfred as a Green Lantern. Crazy world full of vampires. I'm really enjoying it.
Nice.
Also picked up X-Men like Jeff. And let's see. I picked up Grimm. I'm still reading Grimm. Very cool book. Picked up the Moon Knight. I got this You'll Do Bad Things Ashcan. This is coming out soon. I think we have a copy for this. So I'll send that to you guys. And then in the back, we're taking everyone down with us. So 2 Ashcans from Image. I like when they do little things like this.
Yeah.
I mean,
Who are those by?
So the We Are Taking Everyone Down with Us is the Matthew Rosenberg book with art by Stefano Landini. And the You'll Do Bad Things is the Tyler Boss book with Adriano Turtolucci. So both of these guys did. Matthew Rosenberg and Tyler Boss originally did 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank. So now they're doing their own things separately. I don't know if it's.
Do they connect?
Huh?
Are they connecting books? Is it like the 6 finger thing, like where they are
I don't
parallel
know. I haven't
books?
read them, so I'm not sure. I don't think so.
That's interesting that they are. Yeah, because it's weird that they put them together in an ash can, even though they're known for work. Because they're also what's the furthest place from here, guys, too.
You're gonna make me read all this stuff in the back, aren't you?
Read text.
And then this one, I picked it up. So I don't know if you guys remember. This was probably pre-Jeff era. We had some creators from Plus Waco Comics come talk about their Kickstarter.
Rings a bell.
A long time ago. Well, this week their first book came out.
Nice.
Ooh. So this is from Plus Waco Comics, which is like these guys are right down the street, like written by Joey Gonzalez, Nathan Wells in art, and then we have Danny Flores. So we talked to Joey and Danny because Armando, who was the artist I knew from Plus Waco Comics, couldn't make it that day, but we talked to Joey and Danny. I don't remember if that was pre-YouTube or if that was just I think that might have been just an audio.
Just audio.
Yeah, because they were promoting their Kickstarter, which was launching this whole universe. So this is their first book out of that.
Nice.
Lawbringer. So I can't wait to check it out. Very excited to read it, especially because we're kind of supporting, semi local creators, but at least people that we know are cool in comics. So, all right, I think that's all I read. That was a lot. That was a big week. Big week in comics. All right.
Big week.
Now we're gonna move on to our comic review, which it's a book that came out last week. Bronze Faces. This is the Dan Mora cover, which is why I picked it up. I love that.
Same. Yeah.
This is here. Let me give you a quick. Let me read the credits. This is written by Shobo and Shof. These are two creators that have done other stuff with Boom that I think I've checked out their work. It's pretty interesting. Illustrated by Alexandre Tefenki. Colors by Lee Lorich. Letters by Hassan Otsmani Elhau. Apologies if I mispronounced anybody's name. This book follows in Soho, London, childhood friends Timmy, Sango, and Gabonka reunite on the eve of the British Museum's historic purchase of the works of Timmy's father, the seminal Nigerian artist Adewale Balogun. Timmy has been invited as a guest of honor for what the museum is heralding as a triumphant acquisition the trio see as nothing short of breaking cultural theft. Emboldened by a night of drinking and shared outrage, they concoct a bold scheme to steal back the artwork themselves. But when they come into possession of a document called the Register, outlining dozens of colonial-era stolen artifacts, their sights turn to even higher than the Benin bronzes, the British Museum cache of nearly 1,500 works of stolen art from the Kingdom of Benin. So, yeah, this. So, Josh, you suggested we check this out. Do you want to talk a little bit about why you wanted to check out this book?
Yeah, I mean, the idea of repatriating artworks back to their country of origin is a big, and rightfully so, big issue in the art world and the museum world. And the British Museum is by far the worst offender in this. They absolutely just refuse to do a lot. But one of the big bodies of objects are these Benin bronzes. And so when I read the description of this, I was like, oh man, sign me up. This looks great, right? Like, people who are the child of an African artist stealing from the British Museum to take it back. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to read it. I thought the story was great. The art is fantastic. I really loved it. I had a couple of quibbles with it. I'll be curious to hear what you guys thought. One quibble is, I think, the way the story is structured. Like, I kind of had to read it twice just to sort of place everyone and all the characters. That's a minor quibble, because I feel like if you're reading this as a trade, it'll probably make a lot more sense, because you can just go straight into issue 2 and start immediately thinking back to issue 1, whereas we have to wait a month to get the next one to kind of make those sort of connections. But yeah, I loved it. I felt like the motives of everyone was still a little off. I did too. Okay, all right. It's not just me then. So yeah, you guys thought.
I agree with John. It was a little confusing because there's some time jumps that happen. Yeah. So you get the introduction of the characters as adults, but then you kind of jump back to see how they all kind of intermingled with each other as kids, and that's a little bit confusing when that happens.
Yeah.
Going back and forth, and then I was telling Danny before the show, there's also one of the Horizon Experience books from Image was called Finders Keepers, which has a very similar premise to this.
Oh, I need to read that.
Which is somebody from Puerto Rico who worked in a museum who came across an artifact that belonged to her homeland, specifically where she was from in Puerto Rico, and she has the opportunity
to reverse Indiana Jones, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of very similar. Like, she's taking back from the museum to give back to repatriate. But in that one, it was a bit more like, I'm bringing the art back to the people where it belongs. This one was like, I need money. I'm gonna take my dad's. In a way, I'm just like, well, it is his, it's his stuff. It's like his dad's stuff. Like, he should be able to do what he wants with it. But it does feel a little like, I'm like, well, that's not as, noble a thing as but I feel like that's why they kind of tack that, there's all this other stuff that we can also do. It kind of feels a little bit more like, going forward we can,
Yeah.
do that kind of stuff. But it does feel a little like, well, that kind of undercuts what you're trying to do. I feel a little.
A little bit, but I agree with both of you. I like the I like the non-linear storytelling, but it is like you definitely have to follow it very well. Although I love the little I guess like there would be the title cards or whatever, like they're telling you where they are and when.
Yeah,
Like, I love the aesthetic of that.
I did too. I thought it was great.
Anytime we go to a flashback, there's like this little like everything, all the panels are like in a little wooden
Oh,
box, like the little touches of yeah, exactly. So like it's very clear when you're in the present, very clear when the characters are thinking back. I love a good story of like just buddies hanging out and doing dumb things. And now obviously this one's a little more heightened, more elevated, and there's more stakes in it. But my hope is that we explore their relationship when they were like why they would be so willing to do something so reckless,
yeah.
other than just other than like being impulsive. And the art's very cool. It just
Yeah.
looks like every page I'm like, oh, this looks amazing. I think a lot of the time it's very difficult for people to get people of color right, like skin tones and stuff like that. So especially when like there's different light sources and stuff like that, but I think the team did a very good job. Yeah, that's the page I was on right now. When I was
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. So I did also like. I think it's hard in one issue like this, particularly with all the time jumps, to really show who characters are, and I kind of felt like they did a good job here. My one complaint is I don't know what, and I'm probably going to say her name wrong, Sanjo. I don't know. Is she an architect? Like, I know what everyone else is, right? You've got the musician, you've got the politician. Who is she? Because she is the only one that seems both financially stable, but also the most willing to just chuck it all aside to do this. Anyone know, like, what is her profession?
That's what I thought too, but I don't really know. I don't think it's very clear, or if it's clear, I missed it somewhere.
No, I did too then.
But I can definitely see that she's the more kind of stable. So it was like, okay, why are you willing to kind of risk your stability the most?
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't really think too much back about it, but yeah, it's fun. I like, obviously, because they're bringing in a lot of the African art influence, like all that stuff just looks really like the designs of the masks, especially the page when they. Like,
I know. I didn't want to show it, but the last page is just stunning.
It reminded me of in what was it, in Black Panther when Killmonger takes the mask from the museum.
Yep.
He's like, and then I think Claw asked him, like, "Is that vibranium too?" Like, no, it just looks like this. Just looks cool. Like,
yeah.
Here, just as a teaser, this is the teaser for issue 2.
Oh my god, yeah.
So good.
A lot of really cool designs.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I think this will read better altogether, or like in trade, like the art, you can get the complete art. But I'm glad. I mean, I wanted to pick this up too. This one, I think this one was delayed as well, because otherwise I would have picked it last week.
It was, yeah.
So I'm glad, Josh, you wanted to talk about it. So, all right. Any last thoughts on Bronze Faces?
No.
Cool.
No,
well,
I liked it.
Thanks to Boom. I mean, Boom sent us a copy, but then we picked it up anyway. So
yeah,
that's usually what happens. Like all the books that we talk about here that we get previews for, we end up buying them anyway. So I guess not really double dipping, unless you make me buy 2 DC versus Vampires books because they covers connect. The book has so many cool covers. Like it was hard to decide. Like,
it was hard to decide. Yeah.
There's a Tula Lote cover that I wish I had seen too, but
my shop I think only got 2 covers, and it was the normal cover A and then this one.
Yeah, I'll never not get a Dan Mora cover. So
yeah, it was beautiful. I really like it.
Cool. Well, to kind of start winding down. I mean, I know we don't have a lot of time left, but it's when I went to I also wanted to do a trailer reaction. I forgot about that. Let's keep that. We'll save that for the last 5 minutes. in one of the things we talk about sometimes in our Discord, where we plan the show and just kind of chat within each other, or with each other, not within. Repetitions are hard. Okay.
Mind meld.
We talk about like how these comic creators sometimes don't get the credit that they deserve, right? They put a special thanks at the end of the movie usually, but a lot of the time that's not really enough. So I took the credits from Captain America Brand New World, and I just kind of wanted to talk about some of the creators and a little bit of like how they. So we obviously have we just said it. Joe Schuster. No, damn it. Who was
Joe Simon and Jack Kirby.
Joe Simon and Jack Kirby? Thank you. Created the original Captain America. Stan Lee himself created the character of Sam Wilson, the Falcon, along with.
And by that we mean he's like, we need a black guy, and then that's what
we need another. We need another black guy, but this and then of course we have. I think more recently, like I see the name Nick Spencer and Daniel Acuna had a run with Sam as Captain America. Like Sam's been Captain America, I think since Secret Empire, which like that's what Nick Spencer was doing, even before. Because Steve was old for a while, so he had to pass the mantle. You guys remember when Steve got old because the serum?
So he got old right after Secret War, right after the Hickman Secret War when they came back, and it was like right after that he got old. So yeah, that's when Sam took over.
Yep.
So that's like 2012. That's 2012.
Yeah. So I recommend that. Also, of course, I think we've all read them, but the issues, and I think I'll bring this up anytime we see the character of Isaiah Bradley. The issues of Truth, Red, White, and Black, like 2003.
Kyle Baker.
Yeah, Kyle Baker, Robert Morales. Like those two names are on the credits page or the special thanks, and it is because of that book and the influence. It's really cool to see how much influence one small series like that has had, and the impact that just kind of keeps reverberating. Like it tells you how much of how important what that book was trying to say was, right? With the character of Isaiah Bradley, and then when you watch the movie, like you'll see that if you've read that book, I think which Josh you have. So when you see the movie, I think the Carl Lumley stuff was gonna hit a little bit harder. I think just because you read that book and you kind of, even if you never watched Falcon Winter Soldier, like you'll know. So, but from that list, or I mean, it doesn't even have to be from this list. Do you guys have any other Sam Wilson or even Red Hulk stuff that you read that you want to recommend to the people?
I've never read a lot of Red Hulk, but I do like that Mark Gruenwald's run, or Mark Gruenwald. I'm assuming they're referencing the long Cap run. But I did read a lot of that. Like that's where I first started reading comics, and Steve Rogers had just quit being Captain America, so he was just putting on what would eventually go on to be the U.S. Agent costume.
Yeah.
And Sam Wilson was in all those issues because it was Steve, Falcon, D-Man, and Jack Monroe as Nomad at the time. And they're all just like in a van. Like those are my favorite issues of Captain America because they're literally just in Captain America's van driving across America.
Yeah, it's Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. It's so fun.
Well, yeah, I mean, it feels very 1970s and that same kind of like Green Lantern, Green Arrow run where they're also just going across America, you know. I would I would add to that Steve Englehart's original Secret Empire, I think is really fundamentally important because it shows, I think it's a turning point for how writers and audiences understood Captain America, right? Yeah. Yes, he ends up being Nomad, which is kind of stupid, but it's about he doesn't reflect the American government. He reflects American values. and morals, right? And when those things separate, he's going to go for the morals and values, not for what the government is doing or tells him to do. And I think that was, I mean, it's very clearly of the time. I mean, this is like in the wake of Watergate. So, but yeah, really, really good. I'm also just kind of a fan of early Falcon. Not a fan of the costume. I've never been a fan of any costume design that just goes straight down to below the belly button. You know, it's but he's always been a great character. So yeah.
So,
I think that's why I like that Gruenwald run, because D-Man is like not smart, and Jack Monroe is like just a hothead, and so it's just like Steve and Sam being like the adults in the room, you know, like at all time.
That is good.
We also have, since you mentioned the design, John Romita Sr. is credited on this because from what I saw, he redesigned the Falcon to the classic red white costume.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
He's more known for.
Yeah.
John Romita Jr. is also on the special things. I didn't find too much on him except that he worked on the Captain America back in 2000s, which I don't know what comic books he hasn't worked on. I mean, to be fair, like John Romita Jr., I think he's touched on.
I feel like I see a Red Hulk JR like a million times in my head. So he's more Red Hulk.
JR was working with Greg Pak when all the World War Hulk was happening, which is right before they introduced the Red Hulk, right? Because then after that, like, I guess the Red Hulk is introduced, and funny enough, I was talking to you guys. Jeff Loeb and Ed McGuinness are not in the special things section, and they co-created Red Hulk.
Interesting.
Not Thunderbolt Ross himself, because that wasn't. I remember it was like 6 months to a year where we didn't know who the Red Hulk was. I remember in the comics, like it was just a mystery. Like he shows up and he starts kicking ass and like all this stuff, and he beats up the Hulk, and like, but yeah, we don't know who it is, and then we find out way later on that it's Thunderbolt Ross, or at least the first iteration of the Red Hulk was Thunderbolt Ross. But I did find it weird that they were not as part of this this list. We also have George Paris, but I mean, I don't know. He also did a bunch of Cap and Avengers, but I don't know exactly what they would have taken away from his stuff. Other than
maybe they also were like, it just asked AI as they were typing up the credits. They were like, who's worked on Captain America and the Red Hulk? And AI was just like, here's a bunch of creators.
Who should we put special things in our credits? Is Captain America Brave New World. You know what I'm thinking too? I don't know who created Sidewinder, like the Serpent Society, which if you look at the comics, Sidewinder has a wild design.
Oh yeah.
It's full snake.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All of them have full snake on.
Yeah, there's
the Serpent Society, like full snake, compared to like Giancarlo, who just looks like, you know, like very tactical.
And that's one of the things where you know it's the rewrites as you're watching, because I think they only reference his name one time in the movie.
Yeah,
like at the very beginning, and then they're just like the rest of the time they're just like, "Hey, you."
When they're chasing him in the first sequence, they refer to him as Sidewinder.
Yeah.
So,
and they call them the snakes or the serpents or something like that at the very first scene, and then that's it. That's all you get.
I hope when the video comes out to like Blu-ray or whatever, that they have some of those deleted scenes with Seth Rollins to see like what the other Serpent Society members were gonna look like. Because I remember seeing pictures on set of Seth Rollins, and I was like, it wasn't like full snake, but it wasn't full snake, but it was as close to snake as we were gonna get. I think. Like, I'm pretty sure he was wearing like snake skin looking pants and stuff.
I mean, it almost looked like a professional wrestling outfit.
It
like
almost looked like what it does every Monday night.
Yeah, because it was very Monday
nights. Yeah. But I want to recommend Nick Spencer's run. Specifically, I think his Secret Empire gets a little maligned. But I really enjoyed it. And then, you know, maybe the ending is not the most satisfactory, but what I enjoyed the most was the tie-in issues to Civil War II for Captain America, which explains so much better why Steve was doing the things he was doing during Civil War II, because a lot of the characters in Civil War II felt out of character. So like having a little bit of an explanation in the Nick Spencer run really helps. And then of course, like I said, he also did a lot of Sam Wilson from like 2015 with Daniel Acuna. So if you've read Avengers Twilight, which I think you guys might have recently read it, like that really cool art, like Daniel Acuna is very good at that. So the his updated Captain Falcon suit or whatever mix, like it looks really cool.
Yeah, Daniel Cuna also did like tiny little bits on Brian Bendis's Avengers run as well that are really cool.
That's right. So I think we're definitely gonna dig more into. I can't wait to see who is. I feel like the Thunderbolts is gonna have like a full paragraph of special things.
People, who created every single one of these characters.
Oh my god, yeah.
And then of course the Fantastic Four. That one may also go pretty hard on special thanks. One
It should
thing,
just be two people. It just needs to be two people.
yeah, right.
That's
Jack
true.
Just Jack and Kirby. That's it.
Exactly.
It really. My buddy Paul is going back and reading some of the like he's trying to read all of Kirby and Lee's Fantastic Four run. Like I think it's 104 issues before the movie, so he's kind of going through those old issues, and he's talking about like later on you feel the tension between Kirby and Lee, because Kirby will draw one thing to tell one story, and then Stan Lee will put in some other dialogue that doesn't really follow what Kirby was trying to do. So I'm always hesitant to go back and read older comics like that, just because it's tough sometimes. There's a little bit of it especially after you've been reading so many contemporary comics. So all right, but yeah, we'll do this again probably for the Thunderbolts, for Fantastic Four, for Superman. We'll see. I need to go back and track down that picture of all the people that James Gunn invited, like all the comic creators that James Gunn invited to set.
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
put that out there. So we need to track that down, get you some recommendations. But if you guys watching have any recommendations for comics we should read, but I think my main one for sure is the Truth, Red, White, and Black. Like Isaiah Bradley. Like you really want to check that out, especially if you really want to check that out before going to the movie. If you haven't seen Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then February Black History Month, so like what better time to read a book like this? I think it was pretty smart of Marvel to release this movie during Black History Month. Like you can tell, like they probably planned that out to the T. So because it feels weird to have a Marvel movie in February, right? This is when we get our Madam Web.
That makes more sense now.
This is when we get our Madam Web season. Like this is not.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I know. I'll miss Dakota Johnson telling me to drink Pepsi in the 90s.
And having trouble opening the laptop.
Yeah, or early 2003. I think that movie takes place in 2003, if I remember correctly. So, okay.
I want them to bring her back for Secret Wars, but her only line is, "I have no idea what's happening. Crazy shit's going on. Stop asking me questions." Like that's her only line.
I'm like, I have no idea what's happening, but let me take a look. And then she just
oh my god! Can you imagine if they actually follow the original Secret Wars and she just shows up as Spider-Woman? Like, because I remember on Battle World, she just jumps in. Like, nobody knows who she is. She's this new Spider-Woman wearing a black costume, which also makes no sense because Peter gets his black costume. Anyway, sorry, I just had that thought.
Everybody was going with a sleek black design back in the day.
They were. It was all the rage in the mid-'80s.
Yep. All right. Before we do recommendations, I actually didn't watch this trailer on purpose, but I heard good things about it. So I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's a trailer for a movie called Friendship.
Yes, I just watched it last night.
Okay, cool. Well, we're gonna watch it again because I haven't seen it. I'm interested because I like the people involved. I like A24. So let's check out the trailer for Friendship. Yes.
Hello? Howdy. Howdy.
Honey, the new neighbor invited you over for a drink at 8 tonight. I said you'd go.
You don't know my schedule.
You sit there every night. Might be nice to have a pal, you know, a bud.
Hey guys, this is my neighbor Craig. He's the best.
I was just spiraling. I mean, I see the way the guys look at her. I'm scared.
Sheila's lucky to have a dad like you.
Boy, you should know that I've got you on my mind. Your secret admirer. I've been watching you. At night, I think of you. I want to be your baby.
If your game is on, you can call through. If your love is strong,
I can see the future. It's full of pals. I'm on the edge of life, and the view is gorgeous.
Look, we had a couple of really nice hangs, but I think it best that we go our separate ways. I don't wish to continue this friendship.
You all accepted me way too fast. You can't do that. You made me feel too free. People need rules.
You should be dead, you psycho! Who are you?
Give me a second chance. Get to know me.
There's a new Marvel out that's supposed to be nuts. We should go see that.
Wow. I am very happy that I waited to watch that. What the hell?
Can I just say the thing I think that sold me on it, and I think it's impressive a trailer can do this, is the interstitial quotes is what sold it. Because you're watching, you're like, I don't really understand the theme or the tone here, and then you just get those quotes like the most horrifying thing I've ever seen, the next great comedy hit, and I'm like, all right, I'm in. I guess it's all the above. So
It was the "I Love You, Man" for sickos that got me. It was,
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys some of the top comments on the video. Can't wait for Paul Rudd to promote this movie by playing that clip from Mac and Me. Which is an ongoing. Does Conan have a show anywhere? He does.
He is a podcast, I think.
It's a
So we're
podcast.
just gonna get the audio.
Let's see. This reminds me of that trend years ago when people would recut rom-com movie trailers, but with sinister music. Like, definitely feel that way.
Yep.
I'm so confused. Should I be laughing or scared? And then the quote, "An absolute nightmare." It has no source. It's just a quote.
Oh, you're right. Oh shit, that's amazing. All the others do have sources. Oh, that's fascinating.
That's so good. I'm glad I waited for that. So, okay.
Can we clip just him at the end saying, "I hear there's a new Marvel, and we should go see that," and just use it?
You're right. I think that should be whenever we talk about a new Marvel movie, like
it should be our thing.
how we do the Harry Styles.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I need to put that on there.
All right. Cool.
I will tell you, I'm hit or miss on Tim Robinson because I'm not always a fan of the cringe.
Yeah.
Like I love that clip of him going in the drive-thru to do to start a chain.
He goes.
And then he's like, no, I'm doing something. Like, whatever, like 55 tacos, 55 burgers, whatever.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way with him. And actually, I almost knocked out of it just with that very first line. It's like, you don't know my schedule. Like it feels like him doing his show. But I get the impression just from watching him in other moments in that trailer that he probably comes at it in a more nuanced way. So I don't know. Yeah. Until he, of course, goes full like insane, which he absolutely will.
Which that's what I was waiting for, right? I was waiting for him to do something stupid that would get him kicked out of the group of what seems to be very wholesome friends.
Yeah.
I don't know when was the last time you guys just started singing a cappella in a basement with your friends.
Just yesterday. No,
oh, okay. Tonight. You didn't invite us? Oh man.
Sorry. Well, I did the video call. You guys didn't jump on. Okay. No, I am intrigued. I guess I got the impression that maybe he starts to fall for his wife.
There was a cut of
like, I guess he's like a TV news anchor or something, and he looks over at her.
What if it's just his character from Anchorman that's moved over?
Full on looks like his character from Anchorman. It's like almost like he got cast. It's like, hang on, I can't do this without a mustache. Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to grow out the mustache, Paul. and obviously the meta of like, hey, there's a new Marvel thing out, like Paul Rudd's in the Marvel stuff. So.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah. And then they just call him Spider-Man.
Yeah,
thank you, Spider-Man.
in the little clip from the Alamo, he's reading it and he reads it as Ant-Man. Yeah, he reads it as Ant-Man because he's like, I need the
hyphen.
I need the hyphen. Like I always read it like exactly as it is. So if you guys want me to say Ant-Man, I need the hyphen. So that was really funny. All right. We have so Jeff, I clicked on that link you put on the notes.
Okay, so speaking of the Alamo,
did you time code it? Is that why?
Yeah, I time coded it. Okay. I time coded it, so I kind of.
This is Jeff's recommendation. So set it up.
Yeah, so there's a thing called what does it say on the thing? Wizard people, dear reader, wizard people. I think is what it's called.
Oh.
Anyway, at the beginning when I went to go see Captain America at the Alamo, they had before the movies, they had this kind of recap of what happens in all the Marvel stuff to kind of get you caught up. And the voiceover they used, I was like, this voice sounds so familiar. I know what this voice is. Where am I hearing it before? And it's from this clip. And it's a guy from Austin. So and he did this where he basically told the story of Harry Potter over the Harry Potter movie. And so this is the clip where Harry Potter is being delivered to his uncle or whatever it is, the very first part of the movie. Yeah.
All right. Hold on. Let me set it up.
So we will see. I believe it's set up to where Hagrid is first bringing Harry Potter as a baby down to
here's the
Privet Drive.
You son of a bitch.
I Paul Rudd you.
Oh man, that's amazing.
Just kidding, Jeff. I do have it pulled up. But then once you started setting it up, I was like, wait a minute. Why don't I just look for it? Like, I don't know if you saw me typing furiously. You can go back and check the video where I'm like, I need to find this clip.
He's like, keep talking. I got this.
Talking. All right. I don't know how this is gonna work with the copyright, so we'll just leave it there. But oh my god.
Yeah. I just wanted you guys to get a flavor of what this was.
It's almost like he's doing a Gilbert Gottfried, but like a more palatable Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah.
So he does this for the full movie. There's a full movie version of this. Like he does the whole movie. And he used to do a live show, like in Austin, where they would just show, they'd find screens, like, and the Alamo would be like, yeah, sure, coming over, we'll show Harry Potter, and he would just like live do it along with the movie. And then at some point, somebody recorded it, and then they put it over the movie, and they started showing that. And then Warner Brothers eventually did get hold of it. And they were like, whoa, you can't do this. But by that point, he had garnered such a following that Warner Brothers was like, why not try? Like on the lowdown, maybe you can do like a small, like, so he kind of tours it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and eventually now it's like, I mean, this was like 15 years ago, however long it was, but it's wildly entertaining. You should definitely be under some kind of substance, whatever, when watching it, but like
I love it.
it's insane to watch.
I haven't
You
seen
should be
the
you should the
substance,
substance.
but that feels a little, well, like a lot. Just to watch some
That's
Harry
a lot of
Potter
you to watch,
funny
but-
shenanigans. But all right. I mean, but if I'm gonna end up looking like Margaret Qualley afterwards, I guess it's worth it. All right. I don't have a recommendation other than I want to show you guys. I went to Titan to pick up my stuff, and they had a new thing where I was like, "Oh, genius! This is genius." It's these little blind boxes.
I've seen those. I want one.
They're blockies, and they're like it's a blind box where you get one of these Transformers.
Okay.
So there's two boxes. There's one with the Galaxy version, and another one has Grimlock in it. So you can get different characters. But you also have to assemble it. Once you open it, you have to put it together.
Okay.
It's like a tiny Gundam that you have to put together. I don't think
Is
it's
it
complex.
is it snap together, or do you have to use glue?
I don't know anything about this. I walked into the shop and I told Jeremy wasn't there, but I told his daughter, like, whoever decided to put these in the shop is a genius, because I'm gonna open one, and if I can put it together, I'm gonna keep coming back until I have all of them. And then, like I said, there's another one that's like a Grimlock. So these are blind boxes. They're like $7, so it's not too much. And they do also have
just enough for a blind box
from the same brand, the Blockies. They have bigger models that they're not blind boxes. You actually buy whatever character you want, but they seem a little more complex. This one says it's got 44 to 51 pieces. So like,
holy God.
I know. Look at the tiny box.
Oh my God.
So
I hope you have magnifying glasses.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull out my old
yeah, exactly. Your
lens. Let me go to my local library, see if they have the equipment I need. I'm gonna have to hit you up, Josh. See if anybody in the art department's got some room to work with. I could borrow a lab or something.
Absolutely.
All right. Do you have any recommendations, Josh? I know we didn't put anything down in the notes, but
I do. I've been sitting on this one for a while, so I may as well just do it.
Well, before you do that, I want to ask you, what is behind you that is a screen that keeps moving around next to Cobra Commander or whatever?
That is a Tidbit, TIDBYT, and it is just a Wi-Fi enabled device that you can install little apps on. I used to have it over here, but I had to bring my tablet in here, so it sits over here now.
Okay.
And so I have like air quality, and it's all pixelated. I
love it. I kept seeing it, and I was like, "That's new. That wasn't there before." Because I don't think I had seen it before.
My wife got it for me for my birthday 2 years ago, I think. And it's just good. Like it's in like a wood case, so it's just really good for just like basic information. Like stock prices, weather. I have my to-do list. I need a grade unit 2 assignment. Don't tell my students.
I'm gonna send you a camera, and then it's gonna be a live feed on the channel.
That'd be cool.
It's just gonna show that segment of the thing.
Yeah.
Is there commercials on it? What's going on?
No, that's Sky News. Just the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
It's like a billboard street that it loads up with different things, and you just.
Yes, and all the apps are mainly community made. They have some like default ones that like Tidbit makes, but I can't fully recommend it just because they're not really doing a lot of work on it anymore. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's kind of harder and harder to get support on it. They released the second generation of it last year, and everyone's kind of surprised. Like they released it and suddenly like there's no updates or anything. It's just strange. So anyway,
okay,
I like it.
It's very cool.
So anyway, I kickstarted this book that I'm just the art historian in me is fascinated by. It's how comics were made.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really cool because it's this deep dive into the process that I love, but it goes into stuff that like I've never heard talked about before, like the actual like printing plates, these things called flongs, and so on. And so I bring it up partly because it's just a fascinating read, but also because you'd be like, well, it was a Kickstarter. How do I get one? The author of it, Glenn Fleischman, for the backers, posted that this has actually been picked up by, I want to say, Harry and Abrams, a big publisher. No, I'm sorry. It's Andrews McNeil. And so they're going to be putting this out. They slightly changed the name. It's How Comics Are Made now. But yeah, it should be coming out soon, probably this year, I hope. So keep an eye out for it. It's a great book. I'm not all the way through it yet, but it's just a good, like, coffee table book. You sit down, you go through it. It has beautiful pictures, not a really intense read. So
the coffee table is not included with the book?
No, sadly. I really think that Kramer was onto something there. So
all right, cool. No, that sounds cool. When you finish, let us know how comics were made.
We'll do.
What's the other secret?
Danny, look, my Letterboxd is on there too. It just switched, but like when you watch something new, it shows me what you just watched because we follow each other. So
that's very cool. Let me go update it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, there you have it. That's been the show. I don't know what we're doing next week. Maybe if these guys actually watch Captain America Brand New World, maybe we'll do a full deep dive. And then Jeff can really get out all his true frustrations. So we'll see.
Yeah, you got the light version today.
The final word is,
nice.
I don't think it's as bad as people are saying, but it's definitely not the best movie. Watch Captain
the
America
top tier
before.
of the low tier.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I want to watch it one more time before I rank it within like the larger scope of my MCU list. But I also want to watch Incredible Hulk. So we'll see. All right. That'll do it for today. Thanks everyone for watching. See you later. Bye-bye.
The most important thing in life will always be
El Bebo.
Twitter loves you.
Simon Center, get the fuck out.